You're listening to Be the Exception podcast, episode 178. Well, sometimes life happens and you have to be out of school as a special education teacher. Sometimes they can be planned, but other times they're rather unexpected. You get sick, and that's why sub-plans are so important to have set up, especially at the beginning of the year. So if those days happen, you're not worried about all the things that need to be done. It's already packed, prepped, and ready to go. And your learners aren't too affected by you being out so that you can rest and recover. Because it is so important for us to take our sick days when they are needed. But I feel like the substitute binder definitely helps ease our feelings about not being able to be in school. So today we're going to chat about our sub-plans and what all you should include so that you can take your days off without having to think about what's going on at school.
Welcome to Be the Exception podcast. As teachers, each one of us has something that comes naturally to us that others would love to know more about. Throughout this podcast, we'll chat with amazing professionals and offer easily digestible tips that you can quickly implement in your classroom or business, helping you stand out with things you do really well. Your host, Dawn Ellis, is a qualified educational specialist with 10 years of special education experience, published journal articles, and was a state finalist for Elementary Teacher of the Year. Dawn provides tools for special education teachers to perform at their very best, helping deal with the frustrating daily obstacles of being an educator. She offers a roadmap of resources and strategies to make you a confident leader in your school and community. So if you're ready to start the conversation, learn from others, and grow together, you're in the right place. Now here's your host, Dawn Ellis.
Well, hey there. Welcome back to another episode of Be the Exception podcast. I'm your host, Dawn Ellis, and today we're talking about a critical topic for all special education teachers out there. We're going to dive into the world of special education substitute plans because, dun dun dun, sick days happen and you want to be prepared for those unexpected days. Let's make sure that your classroom runs smoothly even when you can't be there. Again, my name is Dawn Ellis. I'm a special educator with over 14 years of experience, entering into my 15th year. I'm a national board certified teacher and I've taught in an array of different settings. And I'm excited to share some tips that I have come tried and true to know what to include in your sub-plans so that you can have those sick days and not feel overwhelmed with thinking of if your class can still run without you. So let's get started. Before we dive into these essential components of the special education substitute plans, let's talk about why they are important. As special education teachers, you create a unique and tailored learning environment for your students, addressing their unique needs and abilities. So when you need a substitute teacher, it's essential to ensure that the classroom continues to operate at the same level of care and support. And that, my friend, is where well-prepared substitute plans come in play. So let's jump into the 5 tips for creating effective special education substitute lesson plans. Tip number 1 is to clearly define components. Your substitute plans should include a clear and detailed schedule for the day. I want you to include specific routines and transitions for each of your learners. Outline the goals for each lesson and provide instructions for any individualized activity or modification. Clarity is key to ensuring a smooth day for your students and your substitute teacher, as well as your paraprofessionals. Tip number 2 is to provide individual student profiles. Now, this will include a brief overview for each of your students' needs, accommodations, medical, behavior, and preferences. This will help the substitute quickly understand the unique requirements for each student and provide the appropriate support. Now, thankfully, a lot of times in a self-contained setting, you also have paraprofessionals that can help with this aspect on days that you are not there. However, taking the time to fill all of this out is definitely helpful to help bring that substitute on board. And that then leads me into making sure that we're sharing those behavior management strategies, not just for the learners who have a behavior plan, but also what your effective behavior management strategies are inside your classroom. This helps empower your substitute teacher to address those behavioral challenges that may arise during the day. Next up is providing detailed lesson plans, activities, and materials for the day. I like to put it all in a clear container that is clearly marked, along with a binder with the different forms and items that we're going to get into next. That way, if you have any books that are for your sub-tub, or you have any kind of manipulatives, printables, adapted books, it's all organized and easily accessible so that the substitute can focus on facilitating that learning within your classroom environments. That then leads me into, I talked a little bit about the binder just a few minutes ago, but inside that binder, you want to make sure to include those caseload forms, your schedule, what you want them to be doing, what the parents should be doing, where the kids need to be, those all of that information, but also emergency procedures as well as contact information. You want to include emergency procedures and contact information for any related service provider, school administrators, support staff, but also the parents. Let them know how the students are getting home, how they arrive, if they need any support for lunch or throughout the day. It is essential to be prepared for these unforeseen circumstances that may occur throughout the day. By setting up the substitute plans as a special education teacher, it requires careful planning and attention to detail to ensure that your students receive the proper support that they need even when you are away. So we talked a little bit about that detailed student overview, making sure that we include kind of anything accommodation and modification wise, and making sure that we leave clear instructions and the routines for throughout the day. You want to make sure that resources have a location for your materials, your equipment, your different visual aids, your assistive technology, your communication boards, sensory needs, and so much more. Even collaborating with your support staff, such as paraprofessionals and therapists who may come in and out of your room, so they are familiar with where this information is, and it just encourages a cohesive learning experience. And then just plan for flexibility. Be prepared for unforeseen challenges and changes in the daily schedule. Leave room for the substitute to make adjustments if that is needed for the overall structure of the day. But by following these tips, you can create well-prepared, organized lesson plans that support the needs of the students in your self-contained special education classroom. And this ensures a positive, productive experience during your absence. Remember, setting up effective substitute plans not only helps your students, but also provides peace of mind for you as a special education teacher. Supporting substitutes in your special education classroom is essential to maintain continuity and ensure the best possible experience for your students. but we understand that preparing these plans can be, well, time consuming. That's why we've created the editable special education sub-plan product in our TPT shop. Inside of this, it is designed to save you time and stress. It has templates that you can add in your information, but the pages are already thought out and designed for you. It is easily customizable to include the essential components that we discussed earlier. Simply put your information in, your individual student profiles, your behavior management strategies, and more, and your substitute plans are good to go. Add that into a binder and the different materials into a bin, and you are prepared for those sick days that are unexpected. So whether you're a seasoned special education teacher or a new special educator, having prepared substitute plans is vital to the success of your classroom. So check out those substitute plans that are editable in the TPT shop and get ready for those unexpected days. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Be the Exception podcast. We hope you found these tips valuable and that you'll check out the editable special education sub-plans because they really are a game changer for your classroom preparedness. Stay tuned for new episodes next week for more empowering episodes coming your way. And until next time, continue to be exceptional at all that you do.
Ooh.